Okay, for this activity, you're going to configure Cisco VLAN configuration. So this is the network diagram and this is the VLAN description. So we have the VLAN ID. So we're going to assign VLAN 10, 20, or we are going to create VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. So the VLAN name for VLAN 10 is ICTO, VLAN 20 is finance, and VLAN 30 is property. And together with the description is the network addressing. So again, aside from creating VLAN, you also have to assign the correct network addressing for a particular VLAN group. Okay, so for VLAN 10, so we're going to assign 192.168.1.0/24. For VLAN 20, so we're going to assign 192.168.2.0/24. And for VLAN 30, we're going to assign 192.168.3.0/24. Okay, so for VLAN membership, we are going to member each port or particular port of the switch. So by the way, the switch is Cisco 2960. So you're going to use the Cisco switch 2960. So that's a 24 port switch. Okay, so again, the switch that you're going to use is the Cisco 2960. So you can look for the Cisco switch 2960 on the end devices. Or here or on this portion. So on the switch category. Okay, so we're going to use two switches. So they are connected to one another. Okay, so for VLAN membership or port membership, so the port Fast Ethernet 01 and 02 will be part of VLAN 10. Okay? So for Fast Ethernet 03 and 04, that's VLAN 20. For Fast Ethernet 05 and 06, that's VLAN 30. Okay? Same as well on the other side. So it's almost the same as on this side. So Fast Ethernet 01 and 02 is a member of VLAN 10. Fast Ethernet 03 and 04 is a member of VLAN 20. Fast Ethernet 05 and 06 is a member of VLAN 30. Okay? So the support membership, VLAN 10 uses VLAN 10 port Fast Ethernet 01 and 02 is a member of VLAN 10. Fast Ethernet 03 and 04 is a member of VLAN 20. And Fast Ethernet 05 and 06 is a member of VLAN 30. Okay? And for the trunk, so kindly connect the trunk to Fast Ethernet 24. So just to be same with the diagram, Fast Ethernet 24, same as well on the other side. So on the second switch, so you have to connect the trunk on Fast Ethernet 020/24. Okay, so let's start by assigning the IP addresses of computers. So then later we're going to configure VLAN. So I've already noted the IP that we're going to use on computers. Okay, so this is 192.168. .192.168.1.1. Okay. This is 192.168.2.1. 192. Oops. 192.168.1.2. This is 192.168.2.1. This is 192.168.1.2.2. This is 192.168.3.1. This is 3.2. So do the same thing on the other side. This is 192.168.1.3. So remember that VLAN are separate networks, virtual networks. So it's a single separate networks on your entire network. Okay? So remember, a reminder that you also have to consider the IP addressing and that there should be no the same IP address on the network. So that's why the computer here, the first computer here, is assigned 192.168.1.3. Okay, so this is 192.168.1.4. This is 2.3. This is 2.4. This is 3.3. And this is 3.4. Okay, so we're going to configure, or we're going to add the VLAN IDs on the switch. So let's start with switch 1, or the first switch. Go to CLI. Okay, so enable. So you can show the VLAN available on your network, on your switch, by typing show VLAN. Okay, so as you can see, we have the VLAN ID VLAN 1. So as default VLAN, and the members are from port 1 to 24. Same as well with the gigabit port 01 and 02. So meaning to say we only have one VLAN on the switch. So we're going to create VLAN 10, 20, and 30 together with its VLAN name. Okay? So let's type configure terminal. Okay? So let's start creating the first VLAN. So just type VLAN, then the ID VLAN 10. Okay? So we've added VLAN 10, and we're going to name the VLAN 10 as ICTO name. Type name, then ICTO. Press enter. Okay, so we already created VLAN 10 with the VLAN name ICTO. So we're going to create the other two VLAN. VLAN 20. The name finance. The next is VLAN 30. Then the name is property. Okay, to check if our VLAN is already configured or added, type exit, then exit again. Okay, then type show VLAN. Okay, so we already have our VLAN 10, 20, and 30. So with its name, ICTO, finance, and property. So it is active, but if you're going to look at the ports, there's no ports which is a member of those particular VLAN. So what we're going to do is we're going to add port to a particular VLAN ID. Okay? So let's type configure terminal. Okay? So next is we're going to assign an interface. So for switch 1, port 1 and 2 is part of VLAN ID 10. Okay? So you can assign individually, for example, fast Ethernet. By the way, instead of using the whole word fast Ethernet, so you can substitute FA, then the port number 01. Okay, so you can configure interface individually, or you can use the command interface range. Okay, so it's either if that is multiple different ports, you can use FA, for example, 01. The comma here. Then FA, for example, 04. Okay, that's also would work. Or FA02 in the case of our network diagram, FA01 and FA02. Or if that will be arranged, you can use the FA01 to 2. Okay, so you have options on how to assign or to configure interface, whether it's a range or multiple ports. So you can use the command interface range. So in this case, I'm going to use the interface range FA01 up to FA02 or -2. Okay, press enter. Okay, so let's start first by initializing the port to be a member of a VLAN. So the command is switch port mode access. Okay, so let's enable spanning tree protocol port fast. Okay, so next is we're going to assign those two ports, fast Ethernet 01 and 02, to be a member of VLAN 10. So just type switch port access, then the VLAN ID, VLAN 10. Okay, so we already assigned the fast Ethernet 01 and 02 to be a member of VLAN 10. Okay, so next, we're going to move to Fast Ethernet 3 and Fast Ethernet 4 of switch 1. So again, interface range FA0 3 to 4. Again, switch port, mode, access, spanning tree, port, fast. Then, member it on VLAN 20, switch, port, member the two ports on Fast Ethernet 3 and 4, or to be a member of VLAN 20, switch port, access, VLAN 20. Okay, so next interface, interface 5 and 6, interface range FA05 to 6. Okay, so switch port, mode, access, spanning tree, port fast. Okay, then switch port, access, VLAN 30. Okay, so we already created VLAN ID. We already membered particular port on a particular VLAN. So port 3, port 1, port 1 and 2, Fast Ethernet 1 and 2 to be a member of VLAN 10, 3 and 4 VLAN 20, and 5 and 6 VLAN 30. So let's try to check if the VLAN is already created and ports are membered. Okay, so exit, then show VLAN. Okay, so you have here the table. So basically, Fast Ethernet 01, 02 is now a member of VLAN 10. Fast Ethernet 03, 04 is a member of VLAN 20. And Fast Ethernet 05 and 06 member of VLAN 30. Okay? So we're done here. We're done here for the meantime. So we're going to go back to the trunk later. So always remember to save your configuration. So configure terminal. Then copy running -config start up -config. Oops. Copy running config start up config. Okay, so we're done with switch number 1, or the first switch on the network. So let's go to the second switch. We're going to do the same process again. Okay, so enable, type enable. So if you're going to look to show the VLAN available on switch 2, so you only have VLAN 1. So we're going to start adding VLAN. So configure terminal. Okay, so VLAN 10 again, then the name, ICTO. Okay, so VLAN 20 name, finance, VLAN 30 name property. Okay, so we already created VLAN. So we're going to member now interfaces. So same as well with switch number 1. Fast Ethernet 01 and 2. 1 and 2 will be part of VLAN 10. 3 and 4 will be part of VLAN 20. 5 and 6 will be part of VLAN 30. Okay, so let's go to interface. Interface range FA01 to 2. Okay, switch port mode access. Okay, switch port mode access. Spanning tree. Port fast. Okay. So member it on VLAN 10. Switch port. VLAN. Switch port access. VLAN 10. Okay. So next is interface 03 fast interface range FA03 to 4. Okay. Switch port mode access. Spanning 3 port fast. Then member it on VLAN 20. Switch port access VLAN 20. Okay, so next interface range FA05 to 6. Switch port mode access. Spanning 3 port fast. Then switch port access VLAN 30. Okay, so we already membered all of the 6 ports on its corresponding VLAN identification or VLAN ID. So we can try checking the VLAN created. Okay, exit, show VLAN. Okay. So we already done configuring the ports to be part of a particular VLAN. Okay. So save the configurations. Copy running. Config. Startup dash config. Okay, so we're done configuring the port to be member of VLAN. But we still have trunk here. So we're going to assign this as a trunk. So basically, the trunk carries the different traffic load with corresponding VLAN identification. Okay, so a single link will carry all of this VLAN identification until it reaches to the other side of the network. Okay, so for us to be able to create it as a trunk, so let's go back again to switch number 1. So again, the trunk is connected to fast Ethernet 024 of both switch. Okay, so configure terminal. So we're going to configure interface fast Ethernet 24 0/24. Okay, so since Fast Ethernet 024 is not part of a VLAN, but it is considered to be a trunk or a port for a trunk. So basically, the configuration here is, or the command here is switch port mode trunk. Okay? Then, spanning 3 port fast. Okay? So, the command is switch port space mode space trunk. Okay? We only configure port 24 to act as a trunk to the network. Okay? So, again, let's save the configuration. Exit and exit again. Copy, running, -config. Start up, -config. Okay, same as well with switch number 2. So, configure terminal, interface, Fast Ethernet 024, switch port mode trunk. So this is no longer access. We're going to assign it as a trunk. So the command is switch port space mode space trunk. Switch port mode trunk. Then spanning 3 port fast. Okay, we already configured Fast Ethernet 024 to act as a trunk. So let's exit and save the configuration. Copy, running, -config, start up, -config. Press enter. Okay, so we can simulate using the simulation mode. So you can click on the simulation mode here. So on the edit filters, so you can just select ICMP. So that ping will only be displayed on the simulation. Okay, so edit filters, then make sure that the ICMP is the only selected protocol. Okay, so add a single PDU. So from the source, for example, this PC to the other side. Okay, if I'm going to click here, so there's no connection between this PC because, as you can see, this PC is a member of VLAN 10 while the other one is VLAN 30. Okay, so let's create another PDU again, or select from this source to this computer. So since they are both on a member of VLAN, click and auto capture. Okay, so basically there's connectivity between computers on the same VLAN. Okay, we can go back to the real-time mode. So we can ping to test connectivity. Ping 192.168.1.3. Okay, so there's a reply. So meaning to say that our configuration is successful. Okay, so that is how VLAN configuration is done in Cisco and using Cisco Packet Tracer. Okay, so that will be all for your laboratory activity for today. So kindly create the diagram and configure the entire network configuration using VLAN configuration.